A pink suitcase should not sit beside a German Shepherd puppy. Her ribs were visible enough to make me feel ill, and her eyes, my God, were empty, with a tired, blinking stillness, as if she had been waiting for something terrible to end. I am Matthew Carver 44, and I work with animal rescue shelters throughout Illinois. I have seen a lot, but this was different. It was the middle of the day, and she was left in the open like an old suitcase. The irony was not lost on me. Someone had literally brought a suitcase and abandoned her like unwanted baggage. The bench was hot from the sun. I reached for the paper, and that is when she finally reacted. She flinched so hard the leash pulled against the metal. Her entire body pressed into the bench as if she was trying to vanish. I did not move closer. Instead, I sat on the pavement a few feet away and waited. People walked by. Some slowed down. One woman whispered, "Poor thing," and then kept walking. No one stopped, not even. But the suitcase haunted me. It was not just a bag. It was clean, pink, with small, heart-shaped zipper tags. It looked personal, like it belonged to a child, or perhaps to her. I could not stop looking at it. Why bring it? Why leave it? I reached for the zipper, not sure what I expected, but my hand trembled anyway. The zipper stuck halfway. I pulled again, being careful not to startle Tessa. She did not move. She just watched, her ears low, her body frozen, as if whatever I might find in that suitcase had already broken her once. Inside, there was no food, no blanket, just 3 items. A chewed-up plush rabbit, the kind you would win from a claw machine. A small, empty stainless steel puppy bowl, and a crumpled pink sock so tiny it must have belonged to a child. I reached into my backpack and took out a bottle of water and a collapsible bowl. I poured slowly, trying not to make a sound. When I placed it beside her, she did not move, just stared. Her ears twitched, but that was all. I waited. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Finally, she shifted slightly. Her front paw inched forward, her claws ticking softly against the bench slat. She looked at me again, then at the bowl. Her breathing became more rapid, nervous, shallow, but she did not bolt. "Good girl," I whispered. "You're safe now." She took one slow step toward the bowl, then another, and then her back paw slipped off the bench. She panicked, yelped, and scrambled back, her body pressed tightly against the metal bars. The leash, jerking, taut. I froze, did not speak, just waited. She watched me with wide, glassy eyes, and then she did something that completely broke my heart. She nudged the pink suitcase with her nose once, twice, then rested her chin on it. I did not move a muscle. I just sat there on the concrete watching this German Shepherd puppy use a suitcase as a shield, or perhaps a memory. Then she reached out very carefully and pulled it close. She pressed her muzzle into the worn fur, as if it held a smell only she could recognize. My throat felt tight. "I don't know what they took from you," I said quietly, "but I swear I will never take this." She did not answer, of course, but she did not flinch either. Instead, she did something else. She took one shaky step forward, dragging the suitcase handle with her teeth just a few inches, and then looked up at me, waiting. That look was no longer fear. It was not even desperation. It was a question, a silent, aching question that went straight through my heart. "Are you coming too?" I stood slowly, careful not to break the fragile connection between us. Tessa did not retreat. She just stood there, her leash trailing loose, the suitcase handle clenched in her teeth as if it were her passport to whatever came next. "I'm coming, girl," I said softly. "We're leaving this place together." She walked beside me, not close, not touching, but near enough that I could hear her breathing, which was quick and uneven. Her legs still lifted slightly with every few steps. The suitcase bumped along behind her. the little heart-shaped zipper tags jingling like wind chimes in the city noise. We passed a group of cyclists. One of them glanced at her, then did a double take at the suitcase. "Hey man, is that her stuff?" I nodded once. He blinked and did not ask more. The walk to the shelter was about 6 blocks. I called ahead and told them I was bringing in a German Shepherd puppy found abandoned on the Riverwalk. They asked if she was aggressive. I said no. I wanted to add, "But she's broken in ways you won't see." But I did not. The shelter intake. Door was open when we arrived. One of the techs, Mia, was already waiting with water, gloves, and that professional calm I had always admired. But when she saw Tessa dragging that suitcase behind her as if it were her whole identity, her face softened. "Oh no," she breathed. "Oh, baby girl." Tessa froze at the entrance, her legs locked, her tail tucked under so tightly it almost disappeared. The leash went slack in my hand. "She's okay," I said gently. "We're not leaving her." We waited for 1 minute, then 2. The city buzzed around us, but in that small corner of the sidewalk, it was just her and the door she did not want to trust. Then Tessa turned her head, looked at me, and took 1 step inside. The moment her paw crossed the threshold, it was as if her whole body sighed. Her suitcase bumped over the door lip and landed softly against the tile. Inside, it was quiet, cool, and clean. But the silence did not bring her peace. Her ears twitched. Her breathing became shallow. Again. She looked smaller under the fluorescent lights. Mia crouched down slowly, offering a hand and a piece of soft turkey. Tessa did not take it. She did not growl. She just backed up 3 steps until her body was pressed against the suitcase. And that is where she stayed until I sat on the floor beside her. The floor was cold against my jeans, but I did not care. I sat cross-legged beside her, close enough that she could feel me there, but far enough not to overwhelm her. Tessa, still, had not taken her eyes off the door. Sometimes animals know, not just what is behind a door, but what it means. Change, risk, another goodbye. She had already had too many of those. I leaned back against the wall and started talking, not to her, not really, just into the quiet. "When I was a kid," I said, "my first dog ran away during a thunderstorm. I spent 2 weeks searching, putting up signs, calling neighbors. Every time I passed someone with a leash, I would hope." Tessa shifted slightly. Her ears twitched. "She showed up in our front yard one morning," I continued, "covered in mud with an old stuffed turtle in her mouth. I have no idea where it came from, but she kept it for years. She slept with it every night until she died." Tessa blinked slowly. Then she lowered her head to her paws. Her nose brushed the side of her suitcase. Mia stayed a few feet away, respectful. She had seen trauma before, but this had layers, not just fear. Loss, abandonment, and memory. We gave her space for hours. She did not bark, did not cry, did not eat, just curled against the suitcase as if it were the last safe thing in the world. By evening, we tried again with food. This time it was warm chicken, hand-fed. I held a small piece between my fingers and waited. Tessa sniffed, paused. Then, without ever lifting her head, she opened her mouth and took it. My chest felt tight. That was the first step. Later, we moved her into a private recovery room, which was small and quiet, with a glass wall so she would not feel trapped. I brought the suitcase, set it beside the cushioned bed, and unzipped it so the rabbit's head peeked out like a familiar face. She followed it with her eyes. Then, limping slightly, she walked across the room, curled up beside it, and did not move for hours. By 9 p.m., her breathing had changed, becoming shallow and uneven. Mia checked her vitals. "Temperature is rising," she said, frowning. Could be stress-related or dehydration or both. I felt a cold knot settle in my stomach. She was finally safe, but her body was catching up to the trauma, and she was fading fast. The numbers on the monitor were not dramatic, but they did not have to be. You could hear it in her breath, which was fast and fragile, as if she were running a race in her sleep. We started fluids immediately. A slow drip, a warm blanket, dimmed lights, and no needles unless absolutely necessary. Mia moved like a ghost, with gentle hands and a calm voice. I had worked with her for years, and I had never seen her this quiet. Tessa did not resist anything. That was the part that scared me the most. Most scared puppies fight, cry, and hide, but she just lay there, her eyes half closed, her nose barely touching the rabbit in the suitcase, as if she were somewhere far away. I sat in the corner of the room and watched her chest rise and fall like a tide that could stop at any second. My fists were clenched so tightly, my nails left marks in my palms. I did not even notice until Mia handed me a cup of tea I did not ask for. "She's holding on," she whispered. She waited for someone to see her. She's not giving up now. But I was not so sure. I had seen puppies give up before. Quietly, the kind of giving up that does not come with drama, just stillness. Tessa had that stillness, that old soul silence that made you want to shake the world and scream, "Wake up! She's just a puppy!" I found myself whispering to her, "I see you, Tessa. You're not invisible anymore." She did not move, but the rabbit slid forward an inch, nudged by her paw. Maybe by instinct, maybe by choice. We stayed like that for hours. At 2 a.m., her breathing changed. It stuttered once, twice, then smoothed out. Mia checked her again. Vitals were low but stable. The fluids were helping. The fever had plateaued. At 4 a.m., I dozed off for maybe 5 minutes. When I woke up, her head was turned, facing me, her eyes open and watching. My throat felt tight. "Hey, girl," I said, my voice dry and cracking. "You're still with us?" She blinked once, slowly. And then for the first time since I met her, her tail moved. Just once, a soft thump against the side of the suitcase. I did not speak. I did not dare ruin the moment. But inside, something broke open in me. Relief, gratitude, rage at whoever left her like that, and awe that she was still fighting. Tessa was not out of the woods, but something in her had changed. And when I reached for the edge of her suitcase to zip it closed for the night, she did something I never expected. She placed her paw gently on my hand and did not let go. I did not move. Her paw was small, trembling slightly, her pads rougher than they should have been for a 4-month-old German Shepherd puppy, but it was there, resting on my hand with the weight of 1,000 silent words. She was not just surviving anymore. She was choosing. By sunrise, her fever had dropped a full degree. Mia smiled when she saw the chart, whispered, "Tough girl," and gave her a fresh bowl of warmed broth. Tessa did not eat, but she sniffed, twice. That alone was progress. We left the suitcase in the corner of her recovery room, unzipped with the rabbit tucked neatly on top. I swear she looked at it as if it were still protecting her, as if it had memories only she could access. Mid-morning, I stepped out to grab coffee. When I came back, the hallway outside her room was quiet until I heard a soft scuffing on the floor. I froze in the doorway. Tessa was dragging the suitcase across the tile. Her leash trailed behind her, and she limped slowly but with determination. The suitcase bumped and squeaked with every pull. "She just started," Mia whispered from down the hall. Didn't bark, didn't whine, just got up and went for it. She dragged it straight toward the front door of the shelter, not frantically, not to run. She stopped right in front of the glass and sat as if she were ready, as if she were applying for a home. I crouched beside her, my heart lodged somewhere between a laugh and a sob. "Tessa," I said quietly, "are you trying to tell us something?" She looked up at me, not afraid, not unsure, as if she was asking if I would listen. We filmed it, of course, not for views or clicks, but because moments like that matter. They show what most people never see, the parts of rescue that break and rebuild you at the same time. We posted it later that day with the caption, "She came with a suitcase. She's ready to go home." It became a sensation. By nightfall, we had over 300 adoption requests, messages from all over the country, donations, letters, drawings from kids, and people offering everything from dog beds to plane tickets. But she did not care about the numbers. That night, she curled up beside her suitcase again, her head resting on the rabbit. And for the first time since arriving, she fell asleep without trembling. Hash, hash, hash. Part 2. The next morning, she woke up before me. I had crashed on a cot outside her room, expecting another long day of quiet stares and slow healing. But when I peeked through the glass, she was standing on all fours this time, sniffing around the room with slow, cautious curiosity, still limping and skinny, but upright. Her ears perked when she saw me, and then, unbelievably, her tail gave. 2 soft wags. That was all I needed. I stepped in, crouched low, and whispered, "Good morning, suitcase girl." She came closer, hesitant, testing the floor between us as if it might give way, but she came and nudged her nose into my chest. I did not even try to stop the tears this time. Later that afternoon, we started introducing her to the yard. It was quiet time, with no other dogs, just grass and sunshine. At first, she did not know what to do. She stood stiffly in the middle of the lawn, blinking as if it were too big and too bright. But the moment the breeze hit her face, something changed. Her body relaxed, and she did the strangest thing. She dropped down, rolled onto her back, and just lay there, her feet in the air, her eyes closed, with the sun soaking into her belly, as if she were remembering what safety felt like. That was the first time, Mia, laughed since Tessa arrived. "She's sunbathing," she said, her voice cracking. "She knows she's allowed now." We brought the suitcase outside too and set it beside the bench. She did not rush to it or cling to it. She just glanced at it now and then, like you would glance at a photo album, something that once held your whole world, but no longer had to. Over the next few days, her appetite returned. She started walking better, and her limp eased. We gave her joint supplements, slow refeeding, and gentle socialization, and every day, more messages poured in. People sent handwritten letters addressed to Tessa the suitcase puppy. She slept soundly now, with no trembling, no whimpering, just soft breathing and peace. The first time she barked, I dropped my coffee. It was a week after the adoption papers cleared. Early morning on a quiet street. We were out front, just me and Tessa in the sunrise, when a jogger passed too close to the curb. Tessa stood tall, her tail up, her chest out, and let out one sharp, confident bark. It was not scared or panicked. It was strong, as if she were saying, "This is my home now. I protect it." I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my coffee. She looked up at me as if asking, "Did I do it right?" "You did, suitcase girl," I said. "You did perfectly." From there, it all came fast. The zoomies in the yard, the nose prints on my car windows, the way she would trot into the kitchen every night and wait exactly 4 feet from the stove as if it were some unspoken rule. But one moment stands above the rest. We were visiting the shelter, just a quick hello. Mia had asked if Tessa could come say hi to a new intake, another German Shepherd puppy who was scared and shaking in the corner. Tessa walked in with her, head held high with no leash. She did not need one. And when she saw the puppy huddled in a ball, his eyes wide and distant, she did not bark or whine. She walked right over, slow and soft. Then she did something that brought tears to every eye in the room. She turned, walked to the corner where her pink suitcase still sat, grabbed the rabbit, and carried it gently to the puppy. She dropped it right in front of him, then laid down beside him, touching his side with hers. There was not a sound, just presence. I could not speak. Neither could Mia. She was doing what no medication, no training, and no human could ever do. Tessa was giving another broken heart the one thing she had once lost: hope. And in that moment, I realized she had not just healed. She had become a healer. She was no longer the suitcase puppy. She was Tessa, protector of the small, keeper of the rabbit, and proof that even the most shattered beginnings can lead to something unbreakable. We left the shelter in silence that day, with me blinking too much and Tessa trotting beside me, with that rabbit still gently dangling from her mouth. When we got home, she set it by the door. Not on her bed, not in the corner. Right by the front door, as if it were waiting for whoever needed it next. That night, as I sat on the porch watching her chase fireflies in the backyard, something hit me hard. I almost did not stop that day on the Riverwalk. I had work. I was late. I remember telling myself, someone else will handle it. But she looked at me, right at me, and I will never forget that moment for the rest of my life. Because that choice, to stop, to kneel, to speak gently to a terrified German Shepherd puppy beside a pink suitcase changed everything. Not just for her, but for me. Tessa reminded me of something I did not even realize I had lost. That soft place inside all of us that still believes in second chances. The comments on her video poured in for weeks. Messages from people who had felt hopeless, who had been abandoned themselves, who saw a part of their story in hers. This gave me the strength to get out of bed today. I haven't cried in years, until now. She's all of us. One woman wrote, she carried her past in that suitcase, but she didn't let it define her. That one stuck with me. Tessa still has scars. She still flinches at sudden loud noises. She still needs patience, time, and kindness. But do not we all? And every time she lays her head in my lap or barks at the mailman like he is public enemy. Number one, or nudges a toy toward a shy puppy at the park. I remember she was not rescued. She rescued me. And us. Every single person who saw her story and felt something crack open. Every person who needed to believe in softness again, in the quiet power of showing up. Tessa's journey is more than just the story of a German Shepherd. Puppy left with a suitcase on a hot Chicago Riverwalk. It is proof of what happens when compassion wins over indifference. She could have been another forgotten stray, another sad statistic. But instead, she became a symbol of hope, not just for abandoned dogs, but for every person who has ever needed a reminder that healing is possible. This little girl's journey from abandonment to rehabilitation shows how important non-profit rescue groups truly are. Without shelters, volunteers, and people who stop and care, so many animals would never get their second chance. Caring for a rescued puppy is more than love. It is responsibility. It is pet care. It is showing up day after day and proving with your actions that they are worth it. Tessa's story reminds us that every discarded dog still carries a spark inside, waiting for someone to see it and bring it back to life. So, when you share this video, you are not just spreading one story, you are helping save countless others. You are telling the world that abandoned dogs deserve better. That German Shepherd puppies and every forgotten animal waiting in shelters deserve to be seen, loved, and chosen. Tessa will never forget the suitcase she once guarded. But today, she does not carry it alone. She has a home, she has a voice, she has a future. Join our ***Brave Paws *** family. Be their voice, be their hope.